Hey guys, Sandy here. Welcome back to my channel. Today is February 13th. Had to look and see what day it would be for this video to go live, but it's the 13th, so hooray. I went ahead and picked out my photos for this layout. It is a double page layout. It is from Ali Scraps, and here is that layout right here. It does call for a 5x7 photo. I don't have a 5x7 photo. I'm going to be using these two on this side of the page and these photos on that side of the page. I have, I think, 2 or 3 more layouts to do, and our Harmony weekend will be finally Scrapbook, so that feels really good. So I got my photos. Let's find some papers. We'll get all the things. So let's see what I can do. All right, guys, so this layout actually goes in a bit of a different direction than I thought it was going to. What the final product is not what I had pictured in my head. And I'm okay with that, right? Like, I like the way that it turned out, even if it's not what I originally set out to do, right? And you should have the freedom to change your plan or change your vision or change your process or whatever it is. Like, you should feel free to do that, right? Like, it's your scrapbook, so you should feel free to change the process. Now, I decided that I was going to do some torn edges, and I would have a straight edge in the center of the two layouts, the two sides of the layout where they meet up. And I wasn't really concerned with exactly where they met up at the center point, right? Like, if I wanted my kind of layout to be one continuous thing, I would have made sure to make sure that how many times can we say that, guys? I would have made sure to have those lined up. But as you can see, they are not perfectly aligned, and I am okay with that, right? Like, I'm not stressing about it. I'm going to take this paper here, and I'm going to put it all the way across the bottom of the layout. Now, this kind of matches up for the most part, right? Like, it pretty much matches up. Now I'm going to go in there and start figuring out exactly where my photos are going to go. And I wanted my photos to be inside of that torn edged paper. Now, I had trimmed down the photos a little bit, but I went ahead and trimmed them down some more. And then I decided I better get my little curly cues on here before I figure out where the pictures go, right? Because I am using gold glaze, and it is metallic chroma glaze, and I got this from Brutus Monroe. You guys know I love me some Brutus Monroe products. The stencil is a 6x12 stencil from Scrapping Reflections, which is my shop. And then I am just using a silicone paintbrush, right? And I would get these in the art section at Hobby Lobby when I worked there. I haven't been in a Hobby Lobby since the last day I worked there, which has been a hot minute now. It's been since early summer. So last year, so I haven't been in a Hobby Lobby in almost a year, which is kind of ridiculous. So I don't know if they still have them or whatever. And then I decided that I did not want to have this, this curly bit. Like, in the sketch, there's a curly bit on the bottom of the left and the top of the right. And you know, I can see why that they would put it in the sketch, that it draws your eye. Like, a diagonal line definitely draws your eye. But I didn't like it there. I didn't want it there. I wanted it to be over the paper that was already here. So I go ahead and I've got it on both sides now. And then I actually let that dry overnight. And as you can see, this is the shiny gold that is left once the chroma mist dries properly. So it dries. I'm happy with it. It's the next day. I literally did let it dry overnight, you guys. Sometimes I dry things quickly with my heat tool, but in this case, truly overnight. And I put that aside and worked on the next day's layout. But now, what I've decided to do is bring in torn vellum as well as the torn papers that I have, because in the sketch there are other blocks of paper. It's just not that one single block. So that gets done, and I am totally happy with the outcome here. I like the vellum over top of the pattern paper I've chosen, and I like the vellum over top of the gold. It kind of turns it into like an antique-y look, as opposed to the bright shiny gold that is left after it dries. I'm also going to bring in tulle because I like that as well. Tulle is a great way to grab attention. It is a great way to get some stuff on your page, some texture, some stuff. You know what I'm talking about, the stuff. It's a great way to get texture. It adds fun elements to your page, like it's not just paper. It's different. It's lightweight, right? So if you're worried about bulking up your page, you don't have to worry about that with tulle, right? Even if you knot it, I've also tied it in a knot and like pulled it across the page. The knots aren't that big because the tulle is thin. So now to put my photos over top of the tulle and the vellum, I am actually going to put some fun foam on the back of the photos, sticky side to the photo, and then I'm going to take my Nuvo Deluxe adhesive. I am going to put that on the fun foam and stick that to the tulle. I like a liquid adhesive with tulle, or staples. That works too. The best over top of a tape runner type thing, like an ATG or any other kind of roller kind of runner, because the glue gets in the nooks and the crannies of the tulle, just like it does for glitter, you guys. Right? Like glitter, I say use a liquid adhesive or a hot glue gun, because it's gonna get in there and it's gonna stick. So if you want your stuff to get in there and stick, when it has nooks and crannies, you need something that's liquid, that's gonna dry hard, right? So I'm kind of following the sketch. I've got my vertical vellum here. I've got more of a horizontal vellum on the left-hand side. I am getting all of my photos prepped with their fun foam so that they can stick. I'm really just enjoying the process right now and playing with these colors. They're a little bit deeper and, dare I say, richer than what usually I scrapbook with. I usually scrapbook with bright, fun colors, but I do like playing in the other colors, you guys. There was a time in my life where I scrapbooked with orange, blue, and green almost all the time. I just loved it. I loved the orange, blue, and green, right? I love orange, blue, and green together. That's what it boils down to. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and get these photos down. Now, these are just a variety of photos in Harmony. And I have got to say, I do love that town. I love that little town. It is so fun, you guys. It's adorable. It's fun. The glasswork shop is amazing. The pottery shop is fantastic. That was me. That was my mouth running before the thoughts had fully formed. So the, amazing and pottery was a mattering, right? Whatever I just said. But that's kind of how it happens. My mouth can't run fast enough to keep up with my brain. Sometimes my brain works faster than my mouth too. So, it's a give and take, right? So I am going to go ahead and pop this one down here. Now I am leaving a little bit of a gap between the photos, and that is on purpose. It has nothing to do with the fact that the sketch has a gap. Because if I really wanted to represent that 5x7 photo in the sketch, and I used multiple photos to do it, I would have pushed them together to read as one single piece like it was in the sketch. But I just felt like these photos are a variety of things, right? Like there's a variety of things in here, and I wanted that separation, right? Like I wanted each photo to be its own distinct little thing. And since I'm not individually matting them, the separation on the page works for me. Now this is mulberry paper, and mulberry paper has been in my collection for years. I think for probably 20 plus maybe years. And I wanted to add little bits of it on here. Not a lot. And I do know, you guys, that I've covered up a lot of that gold twirly whirly bit. I'm okay with that because I wasn't exactly sure how this was going to end up, right? Like I wasn't exactly sure what the final look of this layout was going to be. And surely I was not going to use these big, huge flowers. But I knew I had them in my stash. My friend Joni actually gave them to me. Joni is fabulous, and I'm so excited I get to see her in less than a week. So yay. But she gave me a bunch of embellishments that were thick and lumpy and bumpy because she knows I like lumpy and bumpy pages, and these florals were part of it. And I was just like, I don't know what to do with these. And then they're kind of always in the back of my mind because I love decorating with flowers, and I see them every time I open my flower box, and I think that they're beautiful, right? They're beautiful. They're just not a lot of colors that I use often. So when I was doing these colors and I saw the gold, and I was like, oh, those big flowers, I'm going to use those big flowers. And I was so excited. So I put the big one over here on the right-hand side of the layout. And I did that because there's more open space over here. That's what it boils down to. There's less photos on this side, so I've got more open space. So I'll go ahead and put that one down there. And then I'm going to put the smaller one over here on the right or on the left-hand side of the page. Now, I am also using these kind of vellum transparency leaf thingies that I got from MK Shop, who I also get to see in less than a week. And I decided that I was going to use that as the greenery behind the flowers. And I was also going to bring those in and add the little greenery bits elsewhere on the page as well. So you're definitely going to get the glare from that because of the lighting I have over top of my desk. Just like you get the glare from the photos or anything shiny really because of the bright lights. But I love the way that this turned out. I love the way that it looks. It has made me ridiculously happy. I feel like, you know, I haven't scrapbooked with these kind of colors in a hot minute, and it made me feel good to do it some more, right? Like, I'm like, yes. Now, here's where I'm talking about that glue gun, you guys. So I am going to use my hot glue gun, and I am using that on the flowers. I am doing that because I want these flowers to stick quickly to the layout. I totally would have been good with using Nouveau Deluxe on here. I have full belief and faith that my Nouveau Deluxe would have held on. But I wanted it done quicker, right? Like the hot glue is going to solidify a lot quicker than the Nouveau will dry. And it was all about speed, okay? It was all about speed. So I go ahead and do that. And then the hot glue is going to make the transparency pieces stick as well, so I don't have to worry about that. Now, you did see me staple the transparencies, but I was stapling them together so that they would be adhesed onto the layout in one complete unit. I'm also pulling out these basic gray brads, and you know, these are old. They're definitely old, which is fine, right? Like, I'm using older stash, I'm using given stash. It's all good. I love using my stuff, right? And now that I have, I'm making room, guys. Like, I'm making room to get more things. That is how I operate. I'm like, I want to use the stuff so I can get more stuff. And that is kind of what it boils down to. Not for everything in my room, not for everything in my life. Like my Nouveau drops, I need to use those up so I can get rid of that, like just not have that in my scrapbook room anymore. Luckily, I did not get full set syndrome with those, because, oh man, that would have been a nightmare, because I just don't enjoy them like I should, or I used to. I used to be a stickles queen, right? Like, and my husband still talks about stickles. Stickles were my jam. I went to a retreat once and won the entire set of stickles. That was before the distress stickles came out. So this was pre-distress stickles. And it was my pride and joy. And I still have a couple of them left, and they still have like active glitter glue that works in them. But I use them and rebought them and use them, and I'm just not there. I prefer my glitter now in a tub where I can slap it on with a silicone brush instead of a little nozzle, because I don't outline things like I used to with stickles. I used to do that all the time. I'm just not my jam anymore, you guys. So still love glitter glue, but you know, I want it in a tub. And usually now when I'm using this stuff and I'm trying to use it up, I'm treating it more like a glitter glaze than something that comes out of a nozzle very thinly, because you know, it's just the way I'm rolling. Oh my goodness, there is the cutest dog walking outside right now. It is adorable. So my scrapbook room in this home is on the second floor, whereas when we were in California, it was on the first floor. So since I'm on the second floor, I kind of see up the street a little bit more, and I love seeing the dogs walk by. Yeah, and there's a lot of dogs, so there is that. So anyway, now I am going to figure out what in the world is going to go on this layout to finish it up. So I have my big decorative bits, I have my photos, I have the background, I even have the brads, and it's like, what else do we need? Well, we need a title. Do we really need journaling? Not really, because I have a lot of photos from this date that we went on, this kind of like weekend date, and there really isn't a lot more that I need to say here. Now, I really wished that color was a little bit darker and not such a light pink, because it did not work it well. You put that light pink on there and it was like, ugh, no, what are you even thinking right now? It's like, are you even thinking right now? Because that is not the color you want. So yeah, it was not the color I wanted, and it didn't work. And I'm trying to figure out, like, what do I want to put on here? And I decided that I was going to use this gold letter word that says love. And I am going to bring in these Kaisercraft tiny letter stickers. And I am going to go ahead and get my title completed by using those stickers. So instead of, you know, coming up with anything really sensational, or really coming up with a cute and clever title idea, I just spell out Harmony Love, because that's what it is. This page is basically Harmony was cool and I loved it. And here's a little smattering of everything that is there. So you guys, that is going to do it for this layout. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to join the Scrapping Reflections Facebook group so you can have access to all of the sketches for Follow a Sketch February. And that is going to do it. So I will see you guys again real soon for another video.